how's it going, everybody? YouTube, Twitter, everyone else out there. It's your host, Preston, here with B.O.P 713, Houston Rockets basketball show here on a nice Monday night, as per usual. I got the usual co-host, Coach Dante, here today, and Pastor George. What's up, guys?
What's going on? I was last to find out we had a new intro. That's dope.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yo, hey man, shout out to y'all, man. We deserve it. I do it. I'm doing some stuff on what you call on on the backside, so the intro, put together, figure out if it can be something for the podcast. I also did it doing something for the football. So behind the scenes, I'm doing a little extra. So I figured that'd be good. That'd be, good for all three of us. For that, at least we have something good right now. At least we have something going on, right?
That's dope. That's so dope, man. How's it going, Fred?
Yeah, man. I'm doing well. I'm just absolutely excited to bust out this pod. I can't wait to talk about the L's for the week. Some rumors, some coaching market stuff. And then eventually at the end of it, we're going to talk about expectations throughout the rest of the season we want to see on the last day. Hopefully some of these goals will be met. But yeah, man, let's kick it off with the first L of this week with the Golden State Warriors game coming right back after All-Star weekend. And let me tell you, our boys definitely look like they are all hungover out there. They definitely look like they used that whole week not to get better, but to vacay and partay. We did not have a good shooting night, 39% as a team. We did shoot 31% from three. And a highlight, probably a season high, I'm sad to say this, 82% from the free throw line. We only missed 4. But collectively, offensively, defensively, it was rough. It was another rough game across the board. I got nothing else on it. It was a bad game. It was a bad game.
Yeah, definitely. I got a chance to watch this game while I was out with people. And we have officially become elevator music, Yeah, we were just sitting there talking, and I had me some ginger beers and was chilling for a little bit. It was pretty cool, but in the back, I would keep looking up and looking at the score, and it was like, no, not at all. Just no. I will say, man, I do think that like the Warriors, as it currently stands, they have our number. So in the future, man, I just hope that like once we begin our ascension to like greatness, I just want to dog them for like 10 years straight, man, to get our hit back or our lick back, should they say.
Yeah.
We don't deserve this beat down we always get from them guys. We're the only ones that stepped up to the plate, and now we getting all the ass kicking forward every time they see us,
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's real sad.
You want to know, so after the All-Star break, then the Warriors played on that Thursday, right, against the Lakers.
Yep.
So you want to know what they shot against the Lakers? You want to know what they really shot? All right, so they shot 28% from the three against the Lakers, and they shot 38% from the field overall versus the Lakers. But you actually want to know what they shot against the Houston Rockets, a team when you're coming in, when you're playing Houston and you're struggling, and you all of a sudden gets the sense a team, shoots better against Houston because we allow it. So they shoot 48% from three downtown. They shoot 48% from three, and they shoot 47% from the field. They make 26 threes. Klay Thompson's on fire, like he always when he plays us. He's on fire. Yeah, anybody take notice of that? He's always on fire when he play against us. But again, it's just the same old thing. No need to kind of explain. We only had 7. We only had 7 turnovers total. That was good. That was a good time. Klay Thompson had 19 turnovers total. So your thing with the 19 turnovers, Houston, that's more possessions from the Houston Rockets. Again, can't capitalize. 39% from the field. You shoot 31% from the free throw, from the 3-point line. You're not beating the Warriors that way. Other than that, we demolished them in the paint. We scored 50 points in the paint. That was good. But the Warriors, they velocity, they're a small team. They're small. They play small ball. So you're going to get some opportunities in the paint when you're playing a team like the Golden State Warriors who play small a lot. But other than that, man, we continue to shoot bad. We continue to not make open shots when we need to make open shots. And the defense continue to play poor. and just lazy defense. And up and other than that, man, and the 3-pointer is just sweet out there. 3-pointer just sweet. Bad communication at the 3-point line. Kind of a little bit same thing. Lack of effort. Not staying out there towards the 3, and just not switching properly. So other than that, it just continues the same stuff. We got to get up on here and talk about this every week. It's just the same shit over and over and over again. We lose, we lack it. It's just the same stuff. So what point is this? What point of this that we got to keep talking about? It's the same shit with Steven Silas and with the bad rotations on defense and the guys or guys are just not communicating with each other. I mean, how much did this more got to go on? Steven Silas should have been fired later that night. After the game was over, he should have been fired that night. Nate McMillan was fired. What point does it get too late? What point does it get too late? The fire coach. Nate McMillan was fired. They were 29-29 for Quinn Snyder. So what point does enough is enough? And it should have been enough last night.
Yeah, it should have been. I mean, the Golden State game. I'm surprised to see Knicks out there playing 24 minutes as per usual. He made 3 threes, right? Like that's cool and all.
I remember, was that the one he led in shot attempts?
Nope, that was last night.
That was last night.
He led last night. Yeah, but yeah, he only took 8 shots. He shot 3 for 8 from the field, but 3 for 7 from 3. So, I mean,
yeah.
If you're looking for 43% from 3, like I'm glad. Ty, your competition, shot 5 for 12 from the field, but 3 for 6 from 3. So I'll take it. And in the same amount of minutes played, he had 2 more assists than you. I like it. He had another steal. I like it. I would say Şengün, 2 for 10 is looking real rough out there. I was actually expecting him to. I was kind of expecting him to eat on Kevon Looney. I know Kevon Looney's like a thicker build, if you will. But yeah, it was rough. And he only played.
I saw a couple of those post ups from him, and Looney was giving him a hard time. That wasn't. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of like the archetype that he's going to continue to struggle with, because I think even like Bam had some success with him. Dwayne Dedman had success against Şengün. I don't know if he can take on those. Or help me out. Who's the guy in the Boston?
You talking about the guy in Boston?
Yeah.
That was Grant Williams. Was it Grant Williams?
No, the other guy.
Rob Williams.
No, it wasn't Robert Williams. Robert Williams wasn't playing at that. Was it Robert Williams? Was he playing at that time?
Well, I just know that those archetypes is where I think he's most with.
Oh, you're talking about the taller ones, the taller guys,
bigger guys that he can't because they'll just power through whatever type of finesse that he's going through. I think that until he gets bigger, stronger, those guys will continue to dominate him because they're also veterans in that sense. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like what I'm not disappointed, but like you just like look at the stat sheet and you're like, damn, like 2 for 10. Damn.
Yeah,
but he still had 9 boards and 8 assists.
Yeah, as I say, the assists and the ratios were fine, and I think that's what you'll always get from him, some form of that. So I didn't have an issue with that from him. Yeah, you could score more, but hell, the rest of our team could have too.
Yeah, bro. He also made a 3. I like this pick and pop Şengün a little bit. I like that, setting the slip screen and come back to the 3. And he'd be draining them. Him and Usman, I would like to see them shoot more 3s. We'll talk about that in the final segment, but I would like to see them shoot more 3s.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's something to be said there.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. One last thing from this game. Josh Christopher got some shine. 6 for 10 from the field. I loved it. Anytime Josh Christopher gets on the court, I'd be jumping up and down. I mean, I'm a grown man, but I just love seeing Jake up on the court, man. It's so nice.
I try to stay away from like statistical things when like looking at certain, like I guess like as we spend more time together, you guys will see that like I'll do more like statistics as we get towards like the 4th or 5th year of people's careers. I think that we have enough data to kind of analyze those points. I remember how many people just told me Josh Christopher just doesn't have it. He's not good. And I mean, granted, he's my namesake. My name's Christopher, by the way. I don't know, for guys who don't know, my actual name is and then his name is Christopher. So we have a lot in common there. We're both successful young black men who can hoop. I'm just playing. But no, more importantly.
Too much credit.
Yeah, no, for sure. But no, like I really did see a path to where, he has success doing what he's good at, and I think that we didn't allow him to kind of focus on that. Is he ready to be like a starter? I think far from it. Will he ever be a starter? I don't have any hopes or reservations that he could do that. But when I look at Josh Christopher, I see a game that is like, I guess, moldable, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than asking him to do something outside of his himself. When I look at his game, getting to the rim, getting that mid-range shot with a couple spot up threes here and there, but playing focused defense is where he needs to work on. I think that's where I think you can get a lot out of him. I think that and we'll get to this towards later in the pod, but like I think a lot of the philosophy that we have in Houston is like we're asking a lot of people to do things outside or do a lot of everything outside of what they're supposed to be doing and what they're good at. And I think that has like a lot of backlash. And notice that, you know, Christopher has done some self-work year in and year out, game in, game out, week in, week out. And he's done a lot of that on the premise of just trying to be better and keep his head down and work. So commend the young guy for continuing to grind through all the talk, all the backlash, all the people who just said that they would rather get rid of him and stuff like that. Like, it's way too early to put out notions on any of these guys. And Chris, like I said, I commend you for it.
Hey, yo, like I said, I'm a big fan of Josh Christopher, and I think he worked like you said. I think he's good coming off the bench. I don't know if he's ever going to be a starter as long as he's up on this team, but I'm okay with him actually coming off the bench, man. He's actually getting some instant offense every time he comes in. The guy can get to the paint. He's starting to get a little better. You can tell he's been working on his shot a lot. And he plays hard. He plays hard every time he get out there. And he plays like he got something to prove too, like he should have been on the floor every time he gets on the floor. So was no reason for him to just keep sitting out of the rotation when I literally seen him how much he can do for you last year. But last year, but he was in the rotation. What was all of a sudden, that he was out of the rotation this year? Well, we seen it plenty of times, Eric Gordon, but Garrison Matthews was also in the damn rotation over him until Steven Silas finally figured something damn out that Garrison Matthews wasn't no fucking good in this organization right here. But other than that, I like when he gets on the floor. The guy's he's got a certain demeanor when he gets on the floor. Like I should have been out there, and I'm glad he just finally decided to play him.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it was kind of like a confidence thing too. I remember like midway through second month there in November, he was always trying to like work on his confidence. Silas says, "Oh, he's just not confident enough to be on the court yet." And then he's out in the, he got sent down to the G League and he's dropping, like 40 pieces left and right, double doubles, hitting game winners. I don't know where this confidence thing came from, but I don't know. It's just really good to see him on the court. All in all, is just what I'm trying to say. Anytime he steps on the court, like I kind of look at him where it's like he just works so hard, and sometimes hard work does pay off, and it's nice to see it in this form, and obviously he's got a long way to go, but where he started and like the stuff he had to deal with, during the season and even towards the latter half of last season, it's just good to see that his head's in the right place, his heart's in the right place, and he just wants to come on the court and use. It's nice to see. He provides a good energy too, which I like to see on the court. Now, here's the game you guys are all waiting for. Dame, 71. Man, couldn't stop his ass, man. He took 40 shots to get that 71, 100% from the free throw line. 13 for 22 from three.
Yeah, a lot can be said about that. We'll get to my rants towards the back end of the podcast, but this game specifically, I think that like someone said before, we have fundamental issues as an organization on this team, and you looked at how we play certain teams or how teams play us. This was a game that Dame specifically said beforehand that this is the get right game essentially, or get back to normalcy essentially. Teams when they play us, to your point earlier, Press, that they don't fear us. They think of our game as let's get back on track because they know it's going to be an easily contested game. So I just don't, man. I don't really like. I'm not shocked. You know what I mean? Like Dame is the Rockets killer. He's been at for a while for us. But at the same time, I just think that did I expect him to be a 71? No. Am I surprised? No. Who do we have that can defend him? We do actually have him, but we don't have a coach that allows that to happen. So that's a whole other thing.
You're right about that, man.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pastor. Keep going, Pastor.
But nonetheless, though, I have like true concerns about our rotations, how we play defense, how we, I guess, like respond to certain things that other teams do. Whether that's a rotation, whether that's a play, whether that's some form of success. If someone's going for 40 in the first half, we don't double them at all ever. You know, those conversations have been said throughout Twitter all day yesterday. I don't know.
Yep.
It's a lot of things that, like, I mean, I'm no like basketball, genius by any regard. So it's just like when I think of these things and I have questions, I mean, you would assume that other people have to have these questions within the organization, right? You would assume that those things are there.
Right.
So if those things are there, I just don't. I mean, there's clearly something we're missing, right? There's clearly something that, to your point, Dante, was like, why isn't Steven Silas like removed from this situation as a whole?
Yep.
This is not the first. I've said this before. This is not the first case of being embarrassed. You know what I mean? We can go down a list of teams that like
Yep.
thrown up on us on our team this year. If this is not the first time of being embarrassed, and we're looking at an instance where like we're gonna go through this cycle of Coach Silas being mad, he's gonna let the players know that he's upset. Ready to come out the next game and give better effort, but still lose.
Still
right?
lose. Yep.
And then we're gonna go back down the cycle of losing, embarrassed, and then he's gonna get mad again. And it's like we've been doing it all season. So what can we do to like save these young guys' egos and morals? And like I don't understand. I know that whenever I'm a big advocate for this, and I could get off my soapbox on this game because this is terrible. But I'm a big advocate for this. Like if I was going to work every day and I was miserable, or someone told me they were miserable going to work, I would tell them you should look for a new job.
Yep.
Make you happy, or look for something that pays you more outside of that job to compensate for how much like this job is just terrible for you. And I say that to say is like I'm not even speaking for Silas when I say that. I say that the young guys, I would rather see them go elsewhere and be happy and successful than to be in a situation that doesn't like provide a necessary route towards like success or productivity for them. You know what I mean? Like I think that's where I'm at with it, because this is not fundamentally like helpful to none of these guys' mental. You know what I mean? Like I don't see any success mentally when you talk about these habits. Continue though.
Yeah, like that's what I was saying. Bring to my point. When it gets enough, when some point it gets enough. I guess it's not gonna get enough this season. I mean, like Pastor said, we continuously go out there and embarrass ourselves over and over and over again. So, what point of time does it be enough? Like I said, I don't think it's never. I don't think it's never too late to go out there and just part ways. I mean, you got team organization parting ways with their head coaches right now. You had, like I say, Nate McMillan was a recent fire. I mean, if you're uncomfortable like going to work, and again, how about you resign if you're uncomfortable going to work? How about you do us a favor? You do those damn players a favor. How about you do that if you feel that way? But other than that, like I say, this has been in the group chat, so I'm going to read this of the mediocrity and embarrassment that went through. So again, Damian Lillard 71, Luka Doncic 50, Lauri Markkanen 49, John Morant 49 early in the season. That was like second game of the year where we should have won that game. Giannis 44, Anthony Edwards 44, Trae Young 44, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 42, Klay Thompson 42. That was the first game. That was the first game in Toyota Center when he was struggling and he gets hot. The first game in Toyota Center, the game that we was close, that was real close. We should have won the game. Klay Thompson, 41. That was the other night. Devin Booker, 41. Tyler Hero, 41. At what point does he get enough? And again, some of the shots that Damian Lillard was hitting, that's just him. He can create a shot on his own. He's quick. He's really good. He can get any type of shot that he wants. But at what point in the game when you know a guy is really hot, especially like a Damian Lillard, why is you not doubling him? Why is you not getting the ball out of his hand? You should be getting the ball out of his hands immediately. You should come with I don't give a damn. Make somebody else make a damn shot. Because Damian Lillard was just throwing up any type of shot and it will go in. He wasn't just throwing up shots. He was splitting. When we did double team, it was a lot of soft double team where you can just split the double team. It wasn't a hard double team. And we would just go to the paint and make an acrobatic layup, or it was just a screen and roll where he would just get get Alp up on him or Garub on him, and he'll just go to work on him and shoot from the damn logo. But what point in the time of the game when he is hot or a player is hot like that, get the ball up out of his hands, come with a hard double team. And Steven Silas just doesn't get it. But most of those shots, half of them, Dame just Dame. But some of them, you could have did with a hard double team. You could have double teamed him. You could have immediately got the ball out of his hands and make somebody else beat us. Because 71 points, they had 133 and 133 points. So you mean tell me you couldn't make nobody else shoot the ball to Dame and Lillard?
Yeah, that's how other teams beat him. That's how other teams beat the Blazers. And just I want to interject for a second on that. No, the list that you gave doesn't include all the random players who go off for like high 20s and 30s, right? So like that's like you add on to that.
Yo, I'm just saying, like Pastor said, that's how other teams beat Portland. Take the ball out of Damian Lillard's hand and make somebody else beat him. But for us, we don't got sense enough to do that. You don't got sense enough to say you want to just keep playing this, letting Dame come off the pick and roll, and leave Alp on the island and Sengun, leave Alp on the island like that, and Garuba on the island. Then you get Tariq. You try to put Tariq Eason on him. Then he gets screened. He can't really fight through a screen. He tries, but he can't really fight through a screen. And he gets a three that he wants because of the big man. Then when you try to double him, it's not even a hard double team. It's a double team where you can just literally split it, and he can just do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't even trying to split those double teams that hard. I mean, it was 2 dribbles, and he's like at the rim. We didn't even start throwing those double teams out there until halfway through the fourth quarter when he had 66. I mean, at that point, just let him go 80. I mean, what was the point? Oh man, he's got 66.
Then it was 1-3. It was 1-3 when he was trying to get 70, even though he still got it. Man, he shot a 3 over a double team. He just shot it just to shoot it. He just shoot it just to see how hot he was. Yep. And we allow that. We allow it to happen though. And I hate to watch this team. And embarrass me. We continue to go out there on the court and people just tend to walk over us. People just tend to walk over us and do what the hell they want to do against us. Like goddamn Chris Eubank just literally walks over LP and nobody steps in front of it the first time. Now the second time I got to give it to KJ Martin because he got in his face the second time. That was clearly a dirty play by Chris Eubank pulling his jersey. Yeah, when he pulled his jersey down. But then again, we allow people to go out. We allow all these analysts disrespect us and stuff, saying we don't want to talk about. But then again, we allow it. We allow it because the mediocrity coach that we got and the mediocrity we put out there on that damn court every single night.
Before we get on to like rumors and stuff, I do want to talk about another part of this game, Press, that it's frustrating for me. To your point though, Dante, the reason why people can abuse us because we are a young team.
Yep.
The vets on the team are fake. I think Tate is a fake deep cut type of guy. I don't think that he's really a vet in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, it's just weird. But in the case of Alp not playing, I think it was the last 18 minutes of the game or something like that.
Yeah, he got subbed out with 5 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah, so that's weird to me. And I watched a lot of people the coaches speak towards it, and I just I am puzzled. I really not puzzled in a way where I'm confused, puzzled in a way where the audacity and the deflection, right? Deflection that you guys are blaming this young, very talented player that clearly everyone else in the league can see is decent at the very least. And this is an argument I made for KPJ. I made this argument for Jalen Green at times whenever he was fine. Whenever he's bad, I talked about that too. But whenever you talk about a player, and this is specifically I want to talk about Alperen Sengun in this game, Kevin Porter, since everyone talks about him every day for some reason, when we talk about the situation, the environment that goes into this, those are the only 2 players I feel have found consistent success in this terrible environment. And this is one reason I guess I can give some kudos to Christopher too, but he's been up and down through his development. Alperen Sengun is the most consistent player offensively on this team. That's not a question. That's I can prove that.
Not a discussion.
That's a fact. However, if you're gonna highlight his plus and minus defensively, these are conversations that we have all the time on Twitter. I just can't get behind it because of how much better he is for the team on offense. This is also the same coaching staff in front office that was involved with giving Bruno Fernando a bunch of money and saying that he would start at center. And I don't understand that. This is something that we talk about all the time on Twitter. So my point is, and I watch this game and you can't say anything good about a guy who has found some success, and then two, you blame all things wrong on him. I just don't understand it. These type of things lead to division in the fan base, division in the front office and on the team. It allows for excuses to be made whenever there's a defensive lapse from Jabari. Jabari blames Şengün. Whenever there's a defensive lapse from Tate points at Şengün. It's like, well, yeah, I granted, I understand that he's supposed to be this defensive anchor that y'all want him to be, but that's not what he's good at, and it's not what he's supposed to be. Yep. That's what you guys philosophically would like to see from your center. If that doesn't work, then guess what you have to do? Change your philosophy. You have to adjust it to the players that are on your team. It's not really that deep. Granted, this is so the flip side of this argument. Same thing can be said about KPJ or Şengün on offense. The reason why we don't have the same success in this game specifically, he had some nice situations, but he didn't convert a lot of them. But we don't see the Şengün hub is because our coaches, and I've realized the coaching staff, they don't want to run a post-centric style of offense with Şengün being a hub that allows playmaking to happen and distribute that for everybody else. And what I mean by that is that when you look at Şengün, you clearly know that he's good at efficiency at the post. If you want to score consistent points over time, then you can do that. If you want to score fast, you likely have to use guards or get quick shots up through that particular setup. Our coaches have not. We are like still at square one when it comes to post offense for Şengün. We still do the basic stuff. We haven't done any. We don't teach our guys how to move when Şengün has the ball. We don't teach our Şengün how to get and maneuver different angles that we want to see. Like if you want a certain style of ball to be played with Şengün on the court, it should include what he's good at. And I think that that's where a lot of fault is to be said to the coaching staff. And I would even go as far as the front office because something has to be there that is allowing this to continue. I say that to say the reason why I brought up KPJ for this instance was because as much as we hate, and I say we because the collective Rockets hate him for some reason, he has done what he's told to do, what they've asked him to do. Yep. He is a catch and shoot shooting guard. That is what he's good at. He may like point guard. He may enjoy it. He may like the role and the responsibility of it. And he's actually not bad at it. He is just not starter level, all-star level at it. I think that if he does it for 2 more years, he may be on par to be really good at being a point guard. I mean, but that's not something that we can wait for. The point being is that we constantly play our players in roles, in position that don't fit them, that don't contribute to their success, that don't attribute to the longevity of their careers. In fact, we're molding them into things that we think they should do better because we want to get to a certain style of basketball that I personally, this is my argument with everybody every day, I don't personally believe is successful. I don't think that ISO guards, even if you have 2 of them, even if you have 3 of them, could win you championships in the long run. Scoring guards can give you contributions the same way a post-up big man can, the same way a scoring wing could. Contributions is good. But when you harp on it as being like the focal point and the only thing that we do, then we lock ourselves into an identity that people can easily game plan for. And I think that I just can't fathom. Like, I don't understand why we do it so much. The reason why, and I said this earlier, and it correlates to now, the reason why Josh Christopher struggled was because they asked him to do things that he was not good at. The reason why KPJ isn't sought after to be as this great point guard because they're playing him out of position. The reason why Jalen Green hasn't developed the way that he wants, the way that you expect him to, is because we're not contributing a style of play that is conducive to his success. We are just playing read and react, and we want people to be ISO scoring guards. And we want people to honestly, I don't even know what they want the big men to do outside of rebound. I don't even know. But anyway.
Rim run.
Yeah.
Rim run. That's it.
Rim run. Right. So lob threats. I apologize. Yeah. So rebounds and lob threats. I apologize. I do know that. So the point being is that, yeah, exactly. When you look at the Blazers game and you look at what we do, there's clearly something fundamentally wrong. I said this earlier to start with, and I said it again. There's something wrong with how we approach the game of basketball, how we prepare. Everybody always asks, like, what do we do at practice? I don't know. I don't know.
I put that out there on Twitter every time. Like, what do we do at practice? What did you telling the game? What did you telling the team pre-game when they come out? What did you telling the team on something? Something is really off. Like Pastor said, and I say it all the time on Twitter. What are these guys practicing on? What are these guys working on? Yeah. What is he telling them? What is he telling them? Because something, whatever he's doing at practice and whatever he's doing, whatever he's telling them before they come out, they're clearly not prepared. It's clearly not resulting on the court. That's what it's clearly not happening. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what we're practicing. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what the hell that we're doing before these games. But like I say, it's not something is going on. Something is going on behind the scenes that we probably really don't know about. Something is really going on within this organization for this to happen every single night.
On that note, let's get into rumors. Come on, we'll start with you, Press. What you want to speak on?
Okay, all right. So I suppose generally speaking, people have been talking about KPJ, right? Just because we're on the topic of him already. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing trading. I'm hearing cutting.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I'm hearing bench him for the season like John Wall. Okay. What are we doing? I mean, first we want him to develop, right? Like that's kind of been our key thing as the organization, I suppose, is they wanted him to play this point guard role and then excel at it. He hasn't necessarily excelled at it to the level that he thinks that the organization thinks he should be at this point. But me personally, I think he's been great at learning how to be this combo guard, thrust into this windstorm, this sandstorm of an offense, and let alone coaching. But then to sit here and trash him while he's been hurt, he's not even playing. He hasn't played. I don't even know when he last played. Yeah,
15 games ago.
Yeah, he hasn't even been playing, and it's still KPJ this. Get him tattooed on your damn tongue. He in your mouth so much, bro.
Let it rest.
Calm down, bro. He's not even there. Like, for all we know, he's probably getting his reps in. He might be, light workout. We don't know. We haven't heard anything about it, which could be good or bad. We're hoping good, But I mean, I hate the disrespect, and I don't like to use that word hate, but I strongly dislike, the disrespect he receives. I mean, he's what, like 22?
22, yeah.
Like,
yeah, 22.
Well, he's still, y'all are talking to him like he's been in the league for 6 years. You guys know he's 5 years younger than Jayshawn Tate, right? Like, cut him some slack. He's doing what he can out there. And again, where did this cut him come from? We just got him the best team-friendly deal we could have possibly gotten, right? I mean, what? It is like 18 for 4 years and two team player options or team options for the contract. Wow, that's fantastic, and I just, it hurts to really see this as something that, as a Rockets community, that we not only talk about, but like people agree with.
Yeah, it's weird. Specifically on this, it's weird because it's easy when you're like someone's the butt of a joke to like follow trend. I think that's just kind of what it boils down to for me. It's easy like to point fingers at what you think. So like, for instance, like Jalen Green is like by far just like has showed a lot of not it factors, but then I saw games where like, okay, I can be proud of that. And then like, if we get that from anybody else, it's like, it's just like, oh, but then like whenever Jalen does it, it's like he's him. So like, it's not like I don't want Jalen to be successful, because I do actually. I actually care for both of the young guys a lot on a personal level. Like, I think that personally, I would want them guys to find success and like keep ignoring the outside noise and do what they think is best for them. At the same time, I've actually like reeled back a lot of my discourse on Twitter, even though I tell you guys to come and talk to me all the time. And I've reeled back my discourse in Rockets Watch a lot too, because every time we talk about problems, I hear a soup joke. I hear like a butt of the joke, like something that has to be related to like how this mannerism of KPJ is like so bad for the team. And I think it's easy whenever one, you're bad, and two, when it's easy to like bring up a butt of a joke, like the shit is played out. You know what I'm saying? The shit is like beyond played out. We're talking about something that years ago. And granted, bro, if there is 1, 2, 3 or 4 small problems that exist for KPJ and what he's done in the Rockets organization that we don't know about. One, if they were tremendous, they shouldn't pay the guy, right? They shouldn't continue to give him roles. They have the rights and the ability to cut him. As it currently stands, there's no evidence that anyone who speaks towards this young man has to say that he is not someone we should keep and he's detrimental to this team. In fact, I ask people all the time, what specifically is this guy doing to deserve the ridicule that he gets? What specifically is he doing today that he is like the improvement? I see improvement. I think that he's been in the background. He's been doing what he's asked to do. So what exactly is it that you see from him that you just say, I can't take it anymore? The answers I've gotten was that things in the past. He's asking for a grill at a basketball game when that's not true. He actually asked for the number to get to set up for a grill from a guy that's a Houston legend that also gets grills for anybody else. Anyway, and then there was like
I feel you.
Like it's just like it's weird to me that like I think it's easy to hate people who already hate it, and I think that that's where I have like this weird conundrum of thought, just like because like even when I like talk about Jalen, I only do it to like bring out identities. Like I think you guys are too harsh on one player and too easy on the other. It's like when you look at anything that Jalen and Jabari does, people say today, oh well, we do a lot of backlash on them now. Well, yeah, because I spent a month and a half talking about what they did wrong and how much you guys don't speak on it, and then now people want to speak on it because it's clear as day that we don't have the improvement. KPJ has been one of the most consistently good players on and off the court for us, and we have not given him any kudos, bro, for that. And I think it's super weird. And then as we take it out of the local community, we go to national media. And it makes me feel like people who speak towards basketball don't actually watch enough basketball. What's the guy named Ivory or something like that?
From Detroit?
No, the Zach Lowe podcast that the guy that spoke on KPJ. I forget his name. So sorry. Start with like an L or something. The point being is that the young guy he spoke on the KPJ instance and he spoke on all things wrong with fires. So he spoke on firing Stone and he spoke on KPJ being cut. I guess let me separate the two. KPJ being cut sounds like a scapegoat, lazy argument that you don't watch enough Rockets basketball. Fire Stone seems like a political stance because the head coach is respected enough around the league and his father just passed away. So rather than saying the coach is doing a terrible job, you rather say Fire Stone because he has to be doing something wrong, which I can admit I've heard enough rumors about that Silas Stone has been too hands-on and overbearing that I can kind of see some space where like that can be warranted. Nonetheless, if it's so simple, why is it that so simple as in, hey, the Rockets are a new GM and cutting a point guard away from a new Rockets culture? If it's just 2 steps, why is it that it's so bad that we draft a Wemby, a Scoot, or whatever? Whenever we talk about prospects coming here and the hate that we get, oh, no one should come to Houston, no one comes to Houston. If it's just 2 steps away, then and those problems are that easy to be salutable, then I don't understand where's like this weird hatred or discourse to like why nothing can solve in Houston. Because you just named 2 things that solve it, right? Like everyone says that cutting the KPJ and moving on from Stone are literally all we need to fix our culture, apparently. So anyway, my point being is that it's a weird outside outlook on this team. A lot of it I do think is warranted because I've learned things over the last few weeks about the Rockets in front office and how we treat players over the last, two decades. Yeah, last 2 decades, 20 years. So it's been a sight to see and understand what's been going on since I've been born with the Rockets. At the same time, I think there's a lot to be said about the realistic perspective of the Rockets. Like the people who critique the young guys, whether that's KPJ, Jalen, Jabari, Alper Shagun, whatever, all the rumors that surround it. I'm regurgitating this point to say you have to understand the environment that they are living in. You have to understand the environment that they're developing in. I do think that the environment is bad, and I think that's directly related to the coach. And then when I say that, people tell me the coach was not the only problem. That will not solve anything. And I'm baffled because I see clearly what coaching issues have done to this team. I don't know why. I just clearly see it. Granted, we can get an all-star. we can go get LeBron James and something will change, I'm sure. I just really think there's a fundamental issue about the way we approach basketball that just truly just like doesn't like, and I think that people who are from the outside in don't really like speak on that enough outside of like the one guy who said like, like there's too much wrong with Daisha Nix and all that stuff like that. Like I don't know. It's a lot to be said there, but nonetheless, I think that there's some fundamental ways that we approach basketball that don't make sense. If we're tanking, we are a team that's bad enough to tank organically, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of things that's to be said. We have that's what I was gonna say. We have ownerships on the street drunk doing news interviews saying things like pray for Wemby. If that's the mantra, if that's the mantra that you're willing to say on television while drunk, and that's truly how you feel, what type of confidence do you instill into your players? And what are you telling guys on your current team, these young guys? Like, what is the plan that you've already portrayed to them? I have a lot of questions on that, and I think that could be said versus like scapegoating with just like blame to like some one or two players being KPJ or Şengün. Like that's not appropriate to me.
Yeah. I mean, Şengün, I want to say this. Şengün, it's not like he can't play defense. He plays hard. I see it out there. He plays hard. It's not like he plays like terrible. He plays hard on defense. He does do it. He crashes the boards a lot. He gets the rebound. Sometimes, he have a little trouble finishing. But that's gonna get better. But it's not like the man don't go out there and give an effort on defense. The man goes out there and actually try on the defensive side. Now to criticize, Michael Porter, Kevin Porter Jr., who clearly thinks happy to be a Houston Rockets because his ways actually changed since Cleveland.
Yeah.
Since Cleveland, he said, "Hey, the Houston Rockets just saved my life." And
he did say that.
Yep, I think he's a better person. I didn't see. I haven't heard none. KPJ did none outside of the streets. Now the guy that wanted to give him the grill, Pow Wow, I think the rapper that makes those grills all the time. He do it from the Astros players. He do it from the Texans. He do it all the time. Anybody from Houston that plays on a team that want a grill, he'll do it. So I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't see nothing actually wrong with that. And then, like I say, it's clearly coaching issue with this team, and the players. The players don't respect Coach Stephen Silas, and Coach Stephen Silas just doesn't put no preparation into anything he does. And the players don't know what to do on a basketball court, like Pastor been preaching. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to do on a basketball court, and you clearly see it. So other than that, I just think we need a coaching change. You need to get the right coach up in here that's gonna for these players to take serious, that they can buy into them, because these players are not taking Stephen Silas serious right now. But other than that, you see why he's been an assistant coach for 20 years of his career. You see why. Why.
It's clear for sure.
Yeah.
It's clear. What you have to say, Press?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just clear as day, and I agree with majority of your points regarding like I mean, we really got our front office official out here drunk in the middle of the streets. I understand it is the season, but bro, pray for Wemby. Like, damn,
that's indicative to like how unserious this organization is. And like, before that interview, I didn't have much to say about that, but that's indicative of how unserious this organization has been.
Yeah, I mean, in like every day, we're not even that good of a team, but we make national headlines every day, and it's Houston Rockets are messing up here. Houston Rockets this. Houston Rockets this. It's like, damn, bro. Like,
stop giving them excuses.
Yeah, bro. Like, and it's not even like just the excuses, but like, can we just have like a little bit of the light not on us? Can we like focus for a minute? It feels like we're not necessarily in the spotlight, but a spotlight. We're always every single day. I mean, JJ Redick is talking about him on his podcast. I got him on TikTok, and he's talking about us almost all the time. And I mean, Stephen A. Smith, that clown, he never got anything good to say about us anyway. But I mean, him and Kenny's, Kenny the Jet, always downing us, man. It's just hard to see not only national media, but like Houston Rockets legends, people who have actually won championships, just trash us. Like, yeah, there's no hope. These guys need to be working on this, but coaching won't allow them to do this. It's real hard to see it. Wake up on
like
Twitter.
I'd be like, Press, F. Charles Barkley. He been hating us for a while now. Ever since we knocked him out the Western Conference Finals, those years he been not respecting the Rockets, and that been his thing's been going on. But like for the other guys to do that and say it's no hope, come on, man.
But see,
Come
that's
on,
the
man.
thing. Like, and it's hard to separate the two for most people who like who watch enough games or don't understand. Like again, if you, it's easy to like oh snap, bro, my computer might restart. Oh snap. The it's easy to place blame or regurgitate what other people say, but in the case of like the current people who hate us so much, I feel like they've been hating us for years, and it's like now it's like all convoluted and came together. So I just don't, I just don't like. I can't respect anybody who like, I don't know, kicking us while we're down and just like regurgitating things or just using like generalities to describe us versus like what are the real issues. If Raphael Stone is a real issue, give me examples. Don't just like speculate. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not like when they talk bad about us, they don't sit there and say like the Houston Rockets could be working on this and doing this, and their for example, their point of attack offense is not that good. They need to work about spreading the floor and No, it's just, man, they're garbage. These AAU teams out here just running on the floor and getting shots up and running left and right. Like, tell us what we're doing wrong, so that way your empty complaints aren't so empty. It feels like when they go on TV, like I said, on this national media, they just like go on TV and get a script and it says Houston Rockets are, excuse my language, shit. Talk about it, and that's it. Like that's their whole bit is they down us for their 4-minute bit, and then they gloss over it real quick with another summary and move on. Like if you
I don't know. It's weird because like I don't feel like the Charlotte Bobcats or Hornets got these type of backlash. I don't feel like the Spurs.
Charlotte won 9 games.
Yeah, like I think
they didn't get this type. Cleveland, there was one time before they got Kyrie Irving, they lost about 28 games in a row. 20 games in a row, and they didn't get that.
What I'm trying to explain is like it's weird because we have outside sources who tag along and they ultra hate, and then on the inside we have people saying things that like seem like they don't really make sense to me. So it's weird to like we have expectations of something that don't really make sense to me, and I'm like, okay, guys, you do know, like, so let's start from the top here for a second.
Yeah.
We are a team that our superstar walked away from us. That's a cultural issue. Okay, let's start there. And then we got as much as we could get back for him because we took too long to trade him when he asked to be traded. Yep. Right? Then we tried to be competitive, but our players got injured. And then we had to start our rebuild. So our rebuild is like roughly 2.5 years old. Okay. The point being I'm making is I don't think that having expectations to be good after losing an MVP and then going to bottom of the league and then 2 years later being competitive is like something that's realistic. And that's an internal belief. And then I'm looking at the outside, like, why do people on the outside feel the need to like speak on it as if like the best player on our team didn't just walk away and go to like a team in the East? You know what I mean? Like, it's weird to me. So like that's conceptually something that I just don't get. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have another word, but it's like it just doesn't make sense to me. Then that's one part. Then we have a bunch of 19-year-old guys who are, I would say, nowhere near their physical peak, but are athletically at a spot where they're developing. Yep. We expect these guys to be all-stars. like it's weird to me. Luka Doncic came to a situation where he was the guy and he got a chance to be that guy, and they knew that they're gonna give him the keys. Well, he had vets around him. He had good coaching. Yeah, that's what you're going to say? Yeah, vets around him had good coaching. They had an identity, at least, that they knew they were going to. And believe it or not, and people are going to hate me for it because I get into arguments all the time, the Dallas Mavericks have a culture that is far beyond better than ours as
it doesn't help too, because I do bring this up while Luka Doncic is good too. Yes, he was in the better systems. Obviously, he got the better coach, better team, but he's been playing against grown ass men since he was 15. Since he was a kid.
Yeah, that doesn't apply to the other guy, Trae Young, who had success immediately, right? So it's like, went into a good situation that had a lot of talent, vets, and good coaching, decent coaching at the time, and like he became Trae Young. So again, yes, you would hope that you get a player, but like everyone assuming like, oh, we got to go get Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is one and forever. LeBron James is a one and forever player. You're not going to get these players year in and out, but what you can get are foundational pieces that lead to success. Jabari Smith and Jalen Green. Just let's speak on these two players alone because those are our picks.
Okay.
Those players in 6 years, 7 years could be top of their class. Did you know that, like, even with vets and a good culture, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum struggled to work together for a while. No one thought
Yes.
that actually.
They did.
Okay,
They struggled for half a season. Yep.
Yeah. So like, though you saw it, it was, and granted that environment was bred a lot different than what we have currently. Though you saw that, okay, people wanted them guys to split up, bro. They thought they'd be better.
They got so bad they wanted to trade Jaylen Brown. They wanted to get rid of Jaylen Brown.
Right.
They still always talk about trading Jaylen Brown.
Well, yeah, but the players specifically have said they want to play together, though. So that's my point. So my point is like, when we talk about these young guys, you're expecting 19-year-old players, and this is like some of the most talent I've seen in the NBA since I've been born, at least in my lifetime. And I'm like, bro, I can't expect 19-year-old. Our best player is 19 or 20, right? Like Şengün is 20, I think. And then the second best player is KPJ. He's 22. Like most of I don't think we disconnected from like realities and understanding that most people at 22 are like barely skipping through college. You know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. Nerds get to these guys, environment gets to these guys, advice. They're constantly asking for advice. They need to see some form of success. It's just so weird to me to have these expectations on these guys. So hopefully by the end of this podcast, I'll be able to like explain my ideas on culture and what's really fundamentally wrong with the Rockets. But as it currently stands, I'll say this: national media, when you speak on the Rockets, local media, when you speak on the Rockets, and local fans, when you speak on hating certain players on this Rockets team, you have to contextualize the actualities of what's going on. Not that I believe a certain player in Jalen Green is going to be great. What has he shown to you that's going to be great? What is Alper Şengün showing you? What is KPJ showing you, et cetera, et cetera? And then you can analyze those things and say, you know what? I like this, but I don't like this. And those are fair assessment. But when you want to project those out and say what someone cannot do, that's where it becomes unfair because none of these guys are near peak. Now, there's some of these guys, when they leave this team, they will go somewhere else and they will find success. And you will ask yourself, why didn't he do that while he was here? People will, and I use an example that people are going to hate. Y'all hate Anthony Lamb. Anthony Lamb is contributing. I hate Anthony Lamb, okay? He is contributing to a team that has a culture and an identity and an environment that is conducive to some form of success. That he has a role that he plays. So it's like that's those things that like. So anyway, that's besides that the point. I just don't like how media and I don't like how fans and I don't like Twitter when it comes to like handling expectations and how we actually look at or view this team. It's not something that's going to just fix in 2 years. Like we have a decent minute to go, and because you're wanting to be successful by year 3, you're going to trade players away. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird.
No, I absolutely agree with you. You know, I mean, back to before I dive into your point, I got to talk Dante's point real quick.
Yeah.
The Spurs have lost 16 straight.
Yes.
And no one's talking about.
Nobody is even talking about it.
No one's talking about Greg Popovich. No one's talking about Keldon Johnson anymore. He was having a breakout. He was looking real good. Remember, he was going to be an all-star. Remember, he was looking like a superstar.
Yeah.
What happened?
They said that the reason why Pop doesn't get the backlash is because he's earned it, which hints that he has culture. So then when I argue to you guys that we have no culture and then I get backlash because bigger people think about all the success that we've had in Houston, then why haven't we earned the right for people to shut the hell up and leave us alone while we go through our rebuild? Because we don't have culture. We had an identity. Anyway, go ahead.
Popovich is well respected, and those players are not. Those players are, even though they lost 16 straight. Those players still out there playing and doing whatever he tell them to do. That's the problem. We players out there don't know what they're doing on our end.
But they're still losing and doing so.
Yes,
so it's not better. So they when you talk about they trust the process enough. Is what you're saying. They trust the process enough to follow whatever he says until it becomes successful. We are in that process in culture, right? Where they're saying our culture is tanked right now to be better in the long run. People do not believe in it. Players don't at this point. The coach is not even going to be here for it, and the media, fans and all, right? They're saying no. This is wrong. We don't like it. We don't trust what you're doing. Please, agents, do not send your players to Houston. Is what they're saying. Continue.
Yeah, and it's so sad, I mean, again, not that I'm trying to talk bad on San Antonio, and like I do like Greg Popovich, I respect him. Again, like he's fantastic. It's just it's so funny. Like we lose 4 games in a row, and it's like Houston, we have a problem. The sky is falling, and it's like, guys, like we get it. We understand. We're in a slump, trying to get through it. Like we've lost, the last 9 out of 10 right now. It's been a while since we've sniffed a dub, but I mean, again. 16 in a row. Guys, remember when we lost 12 in a row? Remember, it was, here we go again. Here comes 20 losses, and we lost 14 in a row and then broke our streak against I think it was, what was it, the Bucks or the Suns, one of the 2 teams. And then we had won a couple games.
I think it was against the Bucks.
Right,
we had John Lucas the coach. John Lucas was coaching that time.
Yeah, yep. It was the locksmith game that came out. It's just incredible how other teams that when they go through slumps, other than like a marquee team like the Knicks or the Lakers, they don't receive the exact, not that I say exact, but like even roughly the same kind of backlash that Houston faces. And I mean, like the Pistons have won 2 more games than us. I just want to say, right? They're 15-47. They've played 2 more games, won 2 more games. Okay, we might not even have the exact same record as them, but it's a lot of the differences is like it's the way they're losing these games. Like when we lose, like we lose again. 71 points dropped on our head. Like we lose, right? We don't really lose these.
We'll laugh and stop.
Yeah, like we were saying earlier in the first segment. When teams come to Houston, they got us circled. They're like, oh yeah, yep, time to get my 40. Who else wants 40? Who else want to eat, right? And it's sad to say that, but at the same time. It just comes back to like the narrative, right? I mean, I liked your analogy earlier about work, right? In the first segment regarding work, if you don't like your job, find something else, get out of there. Why are you still here, right? I mean, we know some of these players when they face like a team that they haven't beaten, 2 or 3 times, right? They see them 4 times. Like when we face Golden State, like KJ, he doesn't care. Like KJ's probably going to shrug it off and try to play his best, right? Şengün's going to probably try his best, even though he had a stinker. But, like you think players like, maybe this is wrong for me to say, but like players like Jalen Green, if like he's got a stinker against them, he gets in his own head. It's a confidence thing. He's like, oh, I played bad. They know how to guard me. So like he shoots less. He's less aggressive. He's less likely to try to even get contact because he thinks he's not going to get the foul. He thinks it's not going to be an N1, something like that. It's a culmination of a lot of things that like we need to work on here. And I know I'm spitballing. I'm on my soapbox now, but like it's just a culmination of so many things, And as far as rumors go, like just stop, to tie it all in, stop. Yeah. Stop talking if you don't know what you're talking about. If you're out here just
or if you do know, say that then. Like don't make some thing that is regurgitated a thing again just to make it your point. Well, just know I know something. Well, just say what it is then. Yeah. Say it. You know what I'm saying? Don't because like all it does is just like it sparks something that has been there already. If KBJ is a bad locker room guy, don't have us speculate. Tell us what the bad locker room stuff is. But to your point on Jalen and Golden State or any type of player, I think that relatively speaking, we're too friendly with people that like we shouldn't be. I think like he looks up to those guys. So like that's all I'll say on that. Yeah, I think that's we shouldn't go in those games shaking hands and high fiving and I worked out with that guy one summer, so I love him. Like no, like that guy. We need to take some stuff more serious. Oh, but that goes back to my point from a couple podcasts ago. We don't handle the game as professionals. You think that like, look, bro, that like Brian would go to like Steph Curry's and Draymond's weddings. You know that, right?
Yeah.
That's just they're the enemy to him. They're the enemy to LeBron. They have stopped LeBron's being the greatest of all times legacy on like the ownership of that name. So with that being said, you think that he cares about them when he steps on their court?
Hell no.
No,
he sees red, bro.
Yes, bro. Like stop laughing with these people. That's a whole nother topic again.
But yeah.
But yeah, man, like if you're gonna speak on something to the people in the media, if you're gonna speak on something, don't just speculate. Don't just like, I can't tell you, blah, blah, blah. Like, nah, man, like I've chosen personally things that I know I don't speak on for personal reasons, as far as like, why I know that, James Harden is likely to come back to Houston. I understand the situation. That's one topic. But at the same time, I understand that like, if I can't speak on why Kevin Porter Jr. is a bad locker room guy, I don't think it's fair to put out a notion that Kevin Porter Jr. is a bad locker room guy. I can't tell y'all why, but there's no I know. Like that's so unfair You know what I'm saying? Because all it does is just sparks.
It breeds chaos.
Yes.
Yep.
On an already bad situation, this is a bonfire. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is already bad. You know,
and like, you know, and to your point, you know, like if say like a player was interested coming to Houston, you know, he doesn't know, they don't know, I guess because the NBA doesn't know anything about our locker room, doesn't know much about what's going on here. It's like, oh, like maybe I can get a big contract with these guys. And then you see or hear rumors and stories like, yeah, this guy's a bad locker room guy. This guy you don't really want to be with. You don't want to join their team because he takes it this way. Again, that's why the John Wall interview was so damning. Is like, because players like look at John Wall and they're like, I mean, he's not the player he was, but he was that guy before, you know, and they hear that, they look at that, and they're like, man, I mean, is Houston really that bad? You know, I could go make 24 million over there, even though I'm worth 16, right? No one in mind, but just in general as an example, like, is the money even worth it to go over there?
Yeah,
you know,
but like Pal said, he also put himself in that position too, because he knew we were tanking. He knew we wasn't really trying to win games like he said. So he put himself in that situation as well. And then look where he's at now. He's down and out of the. You don't know where he's at all of a sudden.
Yeah,
so he did that to himself also. He did do that to himself also.
Right. And I'm not like,
that's the hypocritical part of it all. By the way, is that this guy who is not a great role model. Again, the point of like professionalism that I spoke on earlier, I would tell these young guys how to be professionals, how to compete. He told them how to compete, but he was like, go out there and just have fun. Like, no, bro. Like, that's not anyway, that's a whole, again, deeper topic. But like, bro, there's a lot to be said fundamentally wrong with like even the vets that we brought in to help these young guys. So that's just like, don't even get me started on John Wall.
We'll have to do a whole pod sometime just dedicated to John Wall and his loveliness. So I'd like to if we're okay with moving on from these, let's dive right into the coaching market, because I know everyone's been waiting for this juicy bit here.
Yeah, man.
Silas, you know we shopping you. I put out a a poll on Twitter to see, you know, what we should do, whether it was based on last night's game and the culmination of events. I put what was like the biggest takeaway from last night's game. And it was regarding the offensive schemes, defensive schemes, rotations, and execution by players. And the rotations was by and large the largest thing. You know, I mean, obviously, in terms of like how he's putting people out there for this offensive set is mainly how I meant it. But yeah, I mean, Silas, we've seen throughout his entire career as our head coach, he can't put a product on the floor that makes any sense. He's not necessarily the greatest guy to really be put in this kind of position to lead these young guys to our future, you know?
Yeah.
So I would say, let's sell them for a bag of chips, right? And let's find out what's on the coaching market. Quinn Snyder taken. He got swooped up by the Hawks immediately. Frank Vogel, Kenny Atkinson, what's up?
Yeah. Before I go into like who I like, I will say this, man. Like Stephen Silas as a rotation, there are some fun, like real things that like you don't do that just don't make sense to me. If you want to do a defense that's universal, you can switch everything by playing Usman, Jabari, and Tari on the floor together.
Oh yeah,
you can switch everything.
You were doing that earlier this year.
In fact, some of the best, believe it or not, y'all know something funny, y'all. The best ball that we've seen was in summer league, bro. Think about that. Just think about it.
Yeah, I was actually excited about that too, though. I was actually excited to see
it. Even Jabari was knocking down shots.
It gave me hope, actually, watching those summer league games, because we were talking about like we'll probably be in the play-in. I'm like, yeah, we could probably be in the play-in.
With this defensive effort from Tari Eason, and I know what Usman can do. Yeah, man, it was the way we had enough pieces. We have enough pieces, and this is what the question I even have for like our current upcoming draft. People say we already have too many wings. I don't think we have enough wings personally. We can get a guard and 2 wings if we want to, or however you want to play it. My point is that we can really find a scoring wing who can play defense and really thrive at having a lengthy roster. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just weird that we don't like really embrace the 6'8" guys we have on this team. We have a lot of 6'8" guys that like fit that. You know what I mean? So super weird. So that's one part. 2 part. Identifying like what needs to be done on court. I think that's the only reason that like I want to like when we talk about coaches, I'd rather get a guy who like is a veteran or like not veteran, like a league veteran, like one that's like a coach with experience because I need a coach who can understand what everyone else is doing so therefore he can pivot and take advantage of what's going on the court. My point is like if they're throwing double teams or throwing zone at us, what do I have my players, what do I expect my players to do and have I coached them to do so? There's clear disconnect when it comes to Stephen Silas and preparedness for a game and how we want certain things to like output. So if I get something here, you should do this. If I get you here on the floor, you should do this. I don't know if we even have those conversations. The point being, I think Frank Vogel is the guy. I do think Frank Vogel is the guy. I think that identifying talent enough to be able to be successful with it, I think he's the guy. I do think that Kenny Atkinson is the better choice though, as far as like ceiling is concerned. I think that Kenny has proven this with his track record that he can do a lot more with players who like aren't really all-star level. Like I think Caris LeVert, D'Lo, and Dinwiddie are all very good players, but just not they have not been the same that they were, to me at least, when they were in Brooklyn. So I think that Kenny has a lot that can be done or said about the guys that like as far as player development, working with less, and then if he came here, he would have more than he ever had any other place outside of Golden State, which he's not the head coach. There's a lot to be said. I hear a lot of people on Twitter talk about Sam Cassell. I don't personally know enough about Sam Cassell, so I just know that like he's probably like very what's it called, animated from my understanding. Yeah. So that's something that like I can get behind. But then if that's where we're going, then you could just go John Lucas for a couple of years and then go, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's just like, not to say that the same coach, but just understanding that like you can get the same out while still doing development. But I think that at this point you need a new voice. So Sam Cassell make sense. So whatever. But yeah, man, like if we talk about like dark horses would be Sam Cassell, but my hopeful would be Mahmoud though. So those are my guys I've been looking at. I don't really have any like other hopes. Like I don't want no old outdated guy. I don't want someone to come in on a like power struggle situation. I want someone who actually come in and like understand the talent that we do have and how can we maximize that. And if we're gonna trade talent and move pieces around, it has to be for like a deliberate reason, not because I don't think this player is valuable. More or less, I want to do this, and this other player helps me achieve that allows these other players to thrive, if that makes sense. So my point is like, if a coach get in here and his philosophy is that, you know, we're going to do guards and wings development, and we just need a veteran center, then trading Şengün for a veteran center makes sense. If that, you know what I'm saying? Like if that just in theory.
If we have to.
Right, if we have to, right, in theory. But if you're going to get rid of Şengün just because the front office doesn't believe in him and it doesn't fit your philosophy anyway, then I don't want that guy, nor do I want that front office. So either way, that's all I'll say on that.
Yeah, so Pastor stole my dark horse pick. I would love Kenny Atkinson. You know, like Kenny Atkinson knows who.
What you want, Kenny?
Huh? No, you actually got my dark horse pick. You said it. You said it when people mentioned it. And my dark horse was Sam Cassell, actually the assistant coach over there with the 76, someone who knows City of Houston very well, who won championships in this city. It's time. I just think it's time for a new voice, and plus I think Sam Cassell will be fine here, you know, developing the talent that we got. Just to get a new voice, I'll be happy with that. But Kenny Atkinson to me will be obviously the perfect choice for this, because again, you know, he was over there with the he led that rebuilding Brooklyn Nets team to the NBA playoffs, and he actually got a game up out of there with a young D'Angelo Russell, who the Lakers just threw away because of his personality issues. Spencer Dinwiddie, Caris LeVert, who he actually developed talent over there really, really well and got that team to the playoffs. And then they just let him go. Because the player, basically they let him go because a lot of players didn't like him. A lot of players didn't like
Kyrie.
him. They didn't like him. KD, Kyrie did not like him.
Don't just blame it on players.
KD
and Kyrie do not like a
No, they didn't like his coaching philosophy and his coaching style, so they were mad at that because basically he didn't let them want to do what they wanted to do, and they just said, "Hey, you get the fuck out. You just get the fuck out," just like that. So he was booted for that. But what he did with that team and rebuilding that organization, rebuilding that team, and the way the players played for him in that year, Hey, I respected that, and also you can tell the players did this. Spencer did when he respect the way he coached. Kevin Durant, them and Kyrie did not want him, but again, Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert. You can see once they got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, you can start seeing it build up on the other players, and the other players didn't want to be there. Spencer Dinwiddie came out and admitted at Dallas he didn't want to be there with Kevin Durant. Them the moment he got traded, the locker room was full of crap. And now when Kenny Atkinson left, so a lot of that was on.
You saying all, bro? You said all the points that you stole. I stole your thunder. You stole my. I want to really, bro. Listen,
hey, Pastor, I'm with you, Pastor. I got you.
The synergy right now.
Bro, it's weird because I talk about culture all the effing time, and people will give me so much backlash for it. Listen, bro, players do not define culture. As much as y'all want to blame it on Michael Jordan and his culture, Phil Jackson was that, bro. Okay, the culture was set by him. Okay, it doesn't start with the people be good. They go to like this like weird philosophy. It's the top down. No, it's not. That's the professionalism of the team. Is the top down. How we approach issues is the top down. The culture, though, how we're going to approach the game, expectations, how we're going to respond, right? How do we handle our day-to-day work, right? The level of intensity that we we provide, right? That's where culture comes from, and that comes from your head coach, bro.
Yes.
Since you lost Atkinson, where has the culture in New Jersey, which is the Brooklyn now, went? There you go. Granted, I can give this example over and over and over. This is why Phil Jackson worked outside of Chicago. Hence that reason. This is why James Harden failed in Houston, because D'Antoni was fair. Okay? That's why when we got to game time and winning time, we didn't know what to do because we were not prepared. Laissez-faire means do what you want and figure out when we get there. We did not even practice at times, bro.
James Harden didn't even want to practice.
That was our
didn't even want to practice. He didn't even
practice. Our culture was not to practice.
Yes. He didn't even practice, especially him. He went out. He went out a lot of times.
He was.
But that's like people are. Oh, the player was our culture. We had culture. No, we did not. Mike D'Antoni was our culture, and he allowed for a lot. That's why when players got here who took life serious, they didn't want to be a part of the culture. Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there are some one-offs that people are going to bring up. What about Chris Paul? Yes, Chris Paul has an identity, and he knows what he wants to do, right? He understands his role, and he understands what culture looks like. And he damn near could be a coach himself, by the way. I think that there's a space where he can be a coach in the future. Not yet. Take some time. We'll figure it out. The point being is that don't give me the one-offs. I can give you a number of coaches. I think Spoelstra has a good culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Frank Vogel,
Pat Riley in Miami over there. Oh, right. You ain't know where the hell you going over there with that.
Frank Vogel was the one who won the bubble, right? With the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yes,
sir.
So he's taken on the Miami Heat, one of the best basketball teams of my lifetime. He took on the Miami Heat and took them game for game at one point, and then took the same successful basketball player that he lost to a championship. You can't talk to me about culture when I understand what's the derivative of that. I understand that when I look around the league and I see successful coaches on successful teams, those teams have culture. Nick Nurse is the culture, bro. Outside of Nick Nurse, where was Toronto? They was in limbo trying to figure out what they wanted to do. Yeah. Coach GMs and front offices, our job is for talent acquisition. They need to be good at understanding who is good and get them here. Coaches need to understand on how we work, how we play, how we win. That's it. So like I just think that like it's so weird, bro. Like I don't know. I just really think that when we understand, so to your point, Preston, when we understand who we want for our team, the people that we named all have culture changing personalities. Sam Cassell's very animated. He's gonna get back in the face of players, hold people accountable. Even John Lucas, I would say, is why he was, by the way. Frank Vogel, proven track record as a culture guy.
In Indiana,
exactly.
Finals.
Kenny Atkinson, culture guy. He's going to hold you accountable, make sure you do what you're supposed to be doing, and he also has a good job working with lists. So everybody has their intangibles, but the main consistent point is that they're culture guys. And I think that's where when people argue me, oh, coach won't fix it. Yes, he will.
Yes, he will.
He will, bro. And you should have that. Yes, he will, because now our culture is, well, they'll figure it out. Why would they figure out? Well, because we expect them to. You know who coach that is? That's Steven Silas. That's another form of laissez-faire that's very similar to what oh my God, what's my last head coach name?
D'Antoni.
D'Antoni.
Yeah.
Exactly. Same similar to what D'Antoni had. And right now you see it where, again, and I'll give you even like a small stint of example for this. So people who's going to argue this. Steven Silas, when he gets mad and yells, they respond. Why? Because now they're seeing a shift in the culture, for at least for that week. That
week? You mean game, bro?
Right.
Don't even.
That Sacramento
game.
Yep,
You
Sacramento
got to come
game,
hard because coach is upset because they want that shit from their coach, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want a coach who's gonna be, man. You know, I don't know, bro. No, they want a coach who's gonna get in their ass and hold them accountable, and especially now because this is the most vulnerable time of their careers.
Yep.
You are literally the person who decides the next 10 to 15 years of their career, bro. Like you are in control of that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You up here, I don't even understand some of the stuff, but that's like, this guy isn't capable, bro. This guy isn't a culture guy. He is a 2B type of guy. He's going to be a good assistant, a guy who comes in and regurgitates what needs to be done. He's mom in the situation. He's your auntie in the situation. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, he's not the father. He's not the house tone setter. He's not the
bread. He's not in control. He's not in control of the situation. That's what
I didn't realize I said it like that.
He's not in control, and it's true. He's not in control. He's not in control. He's not in control. You're right about that.
He is not what Andrew Tate would say an alpha male.
No, far from that.
He is not. I don't condone Andrew Tate on this podcast. However, I would like to say.
No, go ahead.
However, I mean, for all those reasons, that's why I like Frank is his defensive capabilities, which, I mean, at the start of the season, we were supposed to be good on defense and fast breaks.
Yep.
What were the Lakers good at in 2020? Fast breaks and defense. I mean, in my opinion, not that I want to talk about other teams, 80 should have won Defensive Player of the Year that year. I'm not even holding you.
Oh, yeah, he was a dog
80,
that year.
80 was,
he was a dog that year.
Crazy that bubble year. Yep. Even during the regular season, I mean, I just love what Frank Vogel brings. Like, he just brings something out in his players, I mean, people are going to say whatever they want to say about Kyle Kuzma. Okay, but look what he's doing over in Washington. He's almost a 20-8 guy by himself with Brad Beal and Kristaps Porzingis, I really like, and KCP. Anyway, I like Frank Vogel. He's a good guy. He holds his players accountable, and he makes sure that, everyone actually shows up for practice.
Yeah, he's just not. I don't think his ceiling is as high as we think. We need it to be.
Yes.
As far as championships, but we'll find some success with him. We'll find continual success if you allow him to come here and finish his career. You may get some. So this is what I talk about when you talk about evaluating successful cultures. Competing for a championship, okay, is where I think that you can analyze if someone has a good winning culture. A good culture is defined by like just the amount of games you win, and then how often you win in those like particular series against other good culture teams. Yep. Okay, so that's one equation. But how times do you compete for a championship? Like the reason why I don't like the Doc Rivers culture as much. It's like I saw what he's done with players that in Boston, right? And then I saw but Boston, I feel like already had that before they got him there.
Yeah.
And then I saw what he's done in LA, and it's like, see, that's where the double-edged sword can be speaking on, because then you have to understand what is basically a good culture coach, because I don't think he's a great or like a winning culture coach. A good culture coach does in a very professional and fundamental environment where the front office is good, right? The front office is really good, right? In Boston,
the vibes are immaculate,
right? Yes. In Boston, but in LA, I mean, he was the only thing that LA had outside of Chris Paul, and they still failed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a lot of things can be said there. That's a whole nother pod we can talk about. I can break that down. It's like my theories on that. But my point is like when we talk about culture, we talk about like even like the Frank Vogels of such. I think that there's a lot to be said about where he can take us. I think you get a lot of success and competition as far as competing in the Western Conference Finals, getting a couple appearances, whether you win those or not. I think that Frank could take you there a couple times at least over a 10-year of these young men's career.
Yes. Yeah, that's absolutely.
So, and I think you got 8 years that you can max out twice with if you kept these same group of guys. So it could be something doable in that regard.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it kind of it depends. We'll see what happens with it. But I mean, As long as Silas is gone, I really don't care, man. I mean,
You said okay.
I really at this point, like,
alongside us now, I wouldn't mind giving John Lucas just 1 year. Just 1
Yeah.
year.
But
Like
this
I
was the
said,
year
just
that
1 or 2
you
years, just
should
1
did.
year.
Yeah, this is the year that
What
you
is
should did
about-
this year, man.
Yeah.
Shit, we still got some games. We still
Man,
got
we
some games.
undefeated with John
We
Lucas.
could.
Well, that's the
undefeated
problem.
with John
That's the whole
Lucas.
dilemma. They don't want to win. That's the whole theory on Twitter. It's like
Pray for Wimby. That's what
right,
it is.
but that's the point. Professionalism. If you were professional and you had an expectation to win, you would have fired and went with Lucas a long time ago.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Nate McMillan got fired. He's 29 and 29. What point doesn't at what point at some time when enough is just enough?
Enough.
It's
Yeah,
enough.
I mean, 2
enough
years
is
ago,
enough.
2 years ago, Nate McMillan just went to the Eastern Conference Finals,
Eastern Conference Finals.
whooped the Sixers, and made Ben Simmons literally stop playing
Ended his
basketball
career,
for a
yeah.
year,
Yeah, he ended
bro.
his career. Yeah.
Ended his career. Okay, took the they took the Bucks to 7, 6 or 7.
They took
I
them
mean,
6.
okay, 6, right?
Yeah.
Still, the Bucks, and people are gonna say what they want to say about the Bucks, you know. But I just respect Giannis. The Bucks to 6. Okay, next season, they play in, they lose to the Heat, whatever. They still get a game on the Heat, whatever. Okay, they fire him, they can him. Okay, cool. They realize that McMillan was good, but you know they need something else. Like you said, they needed a culture change. They needed someone to be able to come in and provide a burst of energy for this team for this season and be able to continue coaching.
And who know how to handle Trae Young, because it was him and Trae Young bumped heads all year long, and pretty much last year they bumped heads.
Yes, absolutely. And you're telling me that Houston is too afraid to pull the plug? Bro, what do we got to lose at this point? We've won 13 games.
Okay? We ain't got nothing to lose anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, if at this point, let the players coach themselves. I mean, just get out of here, bro. Silas, thank you.
You should know that he should have been. So he should have been fired. He should have been fired after playing Bruno over LP. He should have been fired after that.
Yeah, but that was
wrong right now.
Before we move on, I do want to say that I think the term I'm trying to delineate between the two, I think prestige is more of a front office and a professional thing from like the front office and ownership. I think prestige defines so you can have respect in that regard. So therefore you don't allow certain things to happen within your front office. I think culture is more or less on the coach, right? So a lot of people think that your culture comes from your front office, but I think that's more like prestige and the respect level. Hence why certain teams don't get talked about in a bad light. You know what I mean? Versus a coach, I think it's always going to be cultural related, and that transfers with them. So anyway, but no, we can wrap up if you want. I don't know.
Keep going.
Okay. Oh no, that's fine. But yeah, no, it's good though. I just think that we have to find a new coach and change our culture. That's all.
Yep.
And I think our front office isn't prestigious. So.
Yeah. Like I said again, man. It's just and I just think enough is enough, and especially what I saw the other night. You know, I just thought it was enough is enough, man. It was just at what point does enough be enough for this guy right here, man? He had opportunities. You know, we did. You know, a lot of people would give him a pass on his first year because he had to come in and deal with James Harden right about the bat. But other than that, you know, this year last year, no excuses for that. This year, it's even worse. We may not even win 20 games. This year. So I just want a new fresh start. And you know what? I wouldn't mind Kenny Atkinson. I definitely would love Kenny Atkinson. He's the perfect guy. But Sam Cassell, you know, that was actually a dark horse for me, for him to be probably the next head coach for them to look at him.
I think that Kenny is, and not that we're I'm just arguing layman's terms. I think that Kenny is the best guy because I think that he just I think that ideally it makes sense in ideas. I think that Frank is probably the perfect fit because he's already had that prestige. And he's a no nonsense guy, and he's already been in the big market where they kind of shunned him over, so he has a lot more leverage in that regards. So we'll see. I mean, either way, I think it's a win-win. So, but you know, nonetheless, though, we can get into the expectations. I know that we had some points that we wanted to get to before we wrapped up. I know that we don't have to go to the offseason or anything, but I know we want to talk about what do we expect or how we look, because you talked about the 20 games that we may not even get to.
Yeah.
what do you want to see from these young guys for the rest of the year? That's inclusive of all the rumors. That's inclusive of all the way that the front office currently looks at Alfred Şengün. We didn't even speak much on that. I don't know if you guys heard that noise at all. What do you got? And also like Willie Cauley-Stein coming up and playing for us. So like, what is our expectations for the rest of the year? What do we expect to see from this young Rockets team and our coaching staff and stuff like that?
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. So start off right away. Jalen Green and Jabari. Like, obviously, I understand. They're still young, but just consistency, and not necessarily consistent on offense or defense, but just as a whole. Right. We want to see them being able to get like, okay, this is my hot spot. This is my catching my shooter's pocket right here. I understand that I'm a great shooter here. I understand I can score here. Okay. Not that you shouldn't shoot from these other areas, but realize like this zone, that's where I need to make sure that if I'm going to shoot it, definitely shoot it from there. Like Jalen Green's crazy fadeaways, he likes to shoot like that corner, that right corner fadeaway, always wet.
That was
always
nice.
Wet from there.
I like the one he did. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Just if you're going to do it, make sure you're doing it over there instead of like from half court because you're down 20. Another thing I'd like to see is coverage on backdoor cuts. Jalen, bro, can't tell you how many times I've seen you sitting there ball watching, just kind of surveying what's going on, and then get beat from the backdoor cuts, alleys, layups, or they get, they hit that backdoor cut there. Then our weak side defender come drawing in there, boom, wide open three. And we like to really help them. We like to help. So I like to see a lot more one-on-one defense, unless we're playing players like, Luka or Dame, who are going to go off for 65 points every night against us. Exactly. I want to see something that's a more consistent, like one-on-one defense. Like, hey, like you need to be able to hold your man. A perimeter defense is so weak for us as a whole too. So I like to see us maybe be able to work a little bit more on the perimeter. Make sure that like, hey, like I'm not going to sag off this guy because I know he's a 44% three-point shooter. I should maybe stay on him and let him get the 2 rather than the 3 and be down 25 instead of 22 from that aspect, right? And then another thing, just kind of top it off real quick. I like to see consistent rotational minutes, right? Again, why is Şengün playing 24 minutes back to back? Oh, he's getting beat out of pick and rolls. Bro, I don't give up. Bro, don't ever disrespect Şengün like that again. Silas, you do realize he's gonna be here longer than you, right? Like you do realize that. Don't ever disrespect Şengün like that again. Okay? Just I want to see rotational consistency. I want to make sure that our defensive consistency is coming up a little bit better, and then especially our offense. So I guess my expectation is being a little more consistent. I understand it's not going to be a huge jump, but just showing the growth of consistency throughout the team.
Well, I don't see us like I don't think we're gonna win 20 games this year, but I think what I want to see, I want to see Jabari Smith get hot for at least get on a hot streak for shooting the basketball. I really want to see him, finish this season off, with at least 5 games of being hot from the 3-point line. I'm yet to see that this year, but when I look at him shoot, it seemed like his form of his shot, he kind of changed it a little bit. It's really different from when he was in Auburn and from right now. It looks like his shot is a little different, but I just want to see him. I just want to see him get hot, be more consistent in shooting the ball. Nowhere in where I think Jabari Smith is a better 3-point shooter than he's showing us. He's got too many open opportunities, wide open. And when he's struggling to shoot, he's hesitating a lot. He pump faking and he's hesitating a lot. And I want to see him finish at the rim more. You're 6'10". You're 6'10". Most of that could be, his size of his weight. His weight, not being able to finish at the rim, but he's 6'10". You got to finish those easy layups. He missed a real easy layup last night. The one that Şengün, I think Şengün had to follow up on. You got to make those, and you got to be able to learn how to shoot over mismatches as well. So again, want to see him get hot for once. I just want to see everybody go out there and compete. That's all. Show some fight, show some effort, show some heart out there for one time. Let people know in this summer, when it's free time, hey, we can get better. This can happen. But first, like I say, enough is enough with Steven Silas. We're not going to fire him because they would have probably fired. I would have fired if I was Jim. I would have fired him last night after that 71. After that 71 points he's given up. But we all know now he's not going to get fired. This is going to continue to go on, and it's going to have to be the same shit. But I just want to see us, the whole team, get better as a whole. I want to see us go out there and compete. I want to see players get better. I want to see players go out there and get better. And I want to see Jabari Smith get hot for once. Get on a little streak for once and start making these open 3-pointers, because he's been open all year long, regardless on pick and pops, catch and shoots. He just not being able to make them. 30% from the 3-point line. Jabari Smith, you're a better 3-point shooter than what you are. You know, KJ Martin going to continue to go out there and get all that he's got. He's proven that he should be a starter. Other than he's proven he should be a starter, and he proven that he should get his money. I haven't heard not one humble for KJ Martin ever since the offseason where he said he wanted to get traded. Most of that because he felt like he should start. And yes, he does start, but I just want to see more consistency. And I want to see everybody get better. That's all. I just want to see everybody get better. And I just want better effort shown out there on the defensive side and the offensive side. And you all get tired. And if you're Steven Silas, you all get tired of seeing a 3-2 zone on your ass every single night. You all get tired of that. Every single night we see a 3-2 zone, and you have not been able to adjust. You don't know what to do every single night. But every team, we see a 3-2 zone, every team. But most of that, we can't shoot. The team can't shoot wide open. So most of that, you see why teams playing, 3-2 against us every time, and it slows us down, and we can't be able to score or penetrate in the paint because we have a lack of shooting too. We do have trouble shooting the basketball, which shown why teams are playing a 3-2 zone. We know we can get anybody one-on-one, but when you're playing a 3-2 zone and teams are knowing you have a lack of shooting on your team, and hey, it's hard to win games like that when you can't penetrate the paint and you can't just play in a pick and roll and do what you want to do. But now all of a sudden you have teams switching into a 3-2 zone because they know we won't make our shots. Even if we open, we won't make our shots anyway. So I just want to see everybody get better. And I do want to see Jabari Smith get on a couple of games hot streak, shooting the basketball. I want him to get that rhythm like Jalen Green did last year, how he got hot. And he was probably the best second half rookie that we've seen last year. But I do want to see everybody go out there and play hard and compete for the rest of these stretch of games. We're not going to win. It don't look like we're going to win 20 games. It don't look like it. The way it is, we getting whooped, we getting beat. We don't look like we're going to touch the 20 game mark. So other than that, I just want to see this team get better as a whole.
Yeah. It's a lot for the end of the year, so I won't go that far. But as far as like the reality of like expectations, I don't know if I'll start with the good or bad thing. So the expectation for the rest of the year is going to be more what you saw. Ain't nothing changing, bro. It's like it's nothing that's gonna specifically, like, there's not gonna get any better. They're not gonna get any more serious. The coach is not gonna coach better, change anything up. In fact, the only changes I expect to see is Willie Cauley-Stein may get more minutes instead of Şengün. You may get more Boban minutes. You probably won't even see no more Usman at the 5 minutes, depending on who we play. So it's a lot to be said. If KBJ and Jalen aren't coming back, I expect to see more of Deshaun Nix. If not, they do come back. When they do come back, which they should, it's not, I know nothing points that they won't. When they do come back, we will get further back into what we did at the beginning of the year, where ISO ball, self-creating, self-playmaking from the 1 and 2 guards. But I will say this, because they have went through the gauntlet and took time out, I do expect them to both be better at that to some degree. That'll make their case like they did last year, but that won't be indicative to like future games. It'll just be more or less saying like, hey, these guys are just, getting better at being NBA players, I guess. But nonetheless, my hope, though, because I don't want to put it as expectation, my hope is let's control what is tangible, at least. And what I mean by that is when I look at the way that we approach the basketball game and the way that we approach a play or how we respond, I'd rather be professional and not look defeated after something doesn't go our way. And I want to stop bitching and complaining, meaning that just focus on what you can control. That's how you respond. It's how you take shots and where you take shots. Let's be professional. Let's be high effort and active on offense and defense. Someone has the ball. Let's give them real screens. Let's give them off-ball cuts. Let's give our teammates some cuts. but effort wise, like I know our offense isn't like super complex, so just give a lot of effort in whatever they actually do. Set the screens hard, roll hard, dunk hard. Okay, on defense, be active and be deliberate. So don't just walk around. Keep your feet moving. Know where the ball is at. How do you want to attack the ball? How do you want to attack a play? Nonetheless, approach the game in a professional manner. Like I said, that's what I would hope they do. I don't expect them to because our prestige is not professional as it currently stands. Our culture is not expected anything from these guys that is like invoked any form of like what they should be doing. You know what I mean? So that's a whole other topic again. So I just hope that they can actually approach the game in a way where it's conducive to being a hard, effective, professional young group of guys, because I think those things are easily controllable rather than like I want to see a hot game from an XYZ guy. No, I want you to do what's best, and what's easiest to do is just give high effort. That's it.
Yeah, I think we all really hit home on things that at the end of the day should be common sense, but we have to put it out there because the organization is, I don't even have a word for it. It's just a mess.
Lackluster.
Yeah, lackluster,
Yep.
man. Yeah, I mean, we understand hindsight is 2020, so maybe 15 games from now we'll look back on this, but man, I mean, and what more can you do as a fan, as a Rockets community member? We can't go out there and do anything for them. God, if I could go out there for free, I would, man. But, we gonna sit here. We're going to speak our truth, speak what it is. And hopefully this makes its way because we know Steven Silas and Dacian Nix obviously watching this out here. And they understand that, we got some words for them. But other than that, it's I think that's all I have for expectations. Yep. Everyone. Yep. Okay. So while I pull up the tankathon here, if you guys like to start saying goodbye and let them know where they can find you.
Yep.
You can find me at Coach Dante on Coach Dante 31 on Twitter, Coach Dante on YouTube, and before we end up out of here, Dacian Nix should have walked home after what he said versus OKC. He should have walked home after that one.
You can always find me on Twitter at Earl God. Actually on YouTube at Pastor George as well. But nonetheless, feel free to stop by, engage with me at any point. I'm doing less banter now. I know a lot of times I always say come and argue with me about anything. I'm definitely willing to argue with you about anything. I'm doing less banter now and only looking for like real conversations that like are conducive to like, real outcomes or opportunities for our young guys. And I'm always in Rockets Watch listening and paying attention and giving my thoughts here and there. So please, stop by and become a Rockets Watch local and watch games with us, and stuff like that. So appreciate you guys and thank you. And you can always find me on Twitter.
Hey, put your YouTube link in the group chat so I can subscribe.
Okay, to you. For sure. Yeah, we'll do. Muted. You're muted, brother.
You're muted, press.
Yeah, here we go. We back. Yeah, so as you guys know, we're really praying for Wemby here. We don't do so much. But yeah, you guys can find me at DripGod, drip 2Ps _GAWD at Twitter, Instagram, wherever else you want to find me. I'm probably there.
For sure.
Ready for the spin.
You don't sound hopeful. Be more positive.
No guarantee we get the worst.
So as you guys know, with how the spins work, it's a 48% or 52.1% chance to get a top 4 pick. And I'll tell you guys where we landed today. So Charlotte jumps up 3 spots to number 1. LaMelo and Wemby would be crazy. Chicago jumps up 5 spots to number 2. Portland jumps up 8 spots to number 3. Detroit moves down 1 to number 4. And, of course, your boy, just because it's indicative of our season, always losing, we move all the way down to number 5. We jump down 4 spots, despite having the worst record in the league. At that point, like if we really don't get a top 2 pick, I don't know, it's kind of over. But 5, bro, man.
I mean, it is an intriguing prospect that I've been really looking at. That could be a lottery pick at that spot. Brandon Miller from Alabama, really like him. He's pretty good. He's got some good size, good height, can shoot the basketball and can play defense. So Brandon Miller this year from Alabama. Encourage people, y'all go check him out, see how good he is. The guy's good, man. The guy can shoot. But the only thing about it is that case that he got, the gun case that he got. So I wanted just to see, once that cleared up, he will be an intriguing prospect. He will be an intriguing prospect to have.
Yeah. I have no much to say, but that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we can trade down, in my opinion, right at that point, if we get a top 5, we should just trade down. Maybe we can bring something in, either a big piece, small piece, who knows? But trade down, and then if we're lucky, we could still draft Anthony Black. He's been my guy on the boards. If we can't grab Scoot or Wimby, Anthony Black has been my guy. I love his entire game. He's, in my opinion, the most well-rounded wing in the entire draft, as well as
I like Nick Smith though, but that's fine.
He's good. I really like him.
Yeah, that's fair. No problem.
Yeah. But yeah, looks like that's going to be it, guys. You can follow the main channel here on YouTube, or you can also find us on Twitter at BlackOwned713 at Twitter. So subscribe, like, let us know on the channel, who do you guys want for the future coach of the Houston Rockets? Let us know your expectations. Please comment. We love them. Share. Have a good night, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.
Oh.